No, I'm not going to turn my channel into an anime one, but I understand anime is quite problematic now. This is a conversation on the internet, so let's examine the problems in Goblin Slayer episode 2. We noticed that the animators don't know how to draw realistic depiction of women. Right? In fiction, women do not have boobs. This is known, Khaleesi. Just look at Marvel. Look how Marvel draws their women, right? Straight, broad shoulders, short haircut, none of this nonsense. And you can see even a more irrealistic depiction here. Can you tell me what's wrong with this image? Huh? It's the hair. You like when men go to sleep, they wake up with the same haircut that they went to sleep with. When women go to sleep, their hair degenerates overnight and it turns into this bloody mess that's like Uncle It hairstyle. So clearly the animators don't know what's going on. Now, as we can see, when this lady was created, she put a lot of points into charisma. There's two reasons why she's going to be incredibly persuasive in every conversation. But I would like to point out just how talented the Japanese animators are. Like, there is one guy that was slaving over a piece of paper for minimum wage in Tokyo that took the effort to animate this. Like, he was drawing tits all day, page after page after page, making sure that they bounce properly according to the gravity. And all I can think about is this poor Japanese guy who is working below minimum wage in the most expensive city in the world, Tokyo, trying to slave over a hot piece of paper and put food on the table for his family. And the only thing he wants, the only thing that he wants is to bring entertainment to teenagers. That's it. You know, that is the only desire that he has from this job, to know that he has put out there a good quality product. And then you have this rich Westerner, this person that's a journalist for some anime newspaper, and all he does is to complain like depiction of women, sexualization, objectification. Delete this. This person with low IQ interventions that just can't appreciate fine culture. No, do not delete this. I say improve this. Do you know how you can improve this? With sound effects. Like, look at this. Whoop, boing boing. Well, I'm really good at this. 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and I already managed to cover all the important character developments of this booby lady. Moving on to the main protagonist. Now, apparently, he never takes off his armor. Like, ever. I wonder how he smells underneath. Probably not good, but he even uses his armor while eating. Now, initially, I would have wondered, like, how would they manage this? But after I have seen this video with these two ladies eating while having a burqa, I think where there's a will, there's a way. Like, look at this dexterity. Look at it. Okay, this takes talent. I couldn't be able to do it. Like, can you imagine the practice that she must have had? So, if she can do it, I think the Goblin Slayer can also eat while wearing his armor. So, we then go into the politics of this fantasy world. Apparently, when there are monsters or any sort of problem, people go to the Adventurers Guild. And they place coin as well as a request, and that becomes a quest. And the adventurers will then pick the quest and they will take the reward if they succeed. I assume the guild also takes a chunk of the money. Really interesting that this guild seems to be a monopoly. They're probably robbing people blind. Like, you could have a moral discussion there in one episode. That would be very interesting. Because it doesn't seem that the guild has any sort of competition. And they're being such shrewd businessmen that they put these pretty ladies up front. So while the adventurers flirt with them, these pretty ladies just smile and they like the flirting, but they're actually trying to sell them shit on the side. Like, this is some high level of predatory capitalism if I ever seen one. You got this, adventurer coming from a very difficult task, and he's seeing this very cute little pretty lady, thinks he has a chance. The lady leads him on. She's like, yeah, sure. Why don't you buy this potion? Now, my question in all of this, what happens to the ones that have a problem, like, let's say their farm is invaded by monsters, and they can't pay? Like, they can't afford the price. Do they not get protection? Is there not any standard militia or soldiers running around, because I think there's not. So maybe this is like an anarcho-capitalist utopia where people don't pay taxes and they just hire these mercenaries in order to fix their shit. I honestly think that this is a good system that if anarcho-capitalists ever get that Kapistan going, they could have. You know, people that have problems, like let's say you got mugged or someone robbed your house, you go to the Adventurers Guild and you put a quest, and then someone will take it and they will try to track down whoever did this to you. Very interesting. This is why I like Goblin Slayer. It has the three things, the trinity, the things that makes me happy. Tits, violence, and political philosophy. This is why I recommend people should watch this anime. It's absolutely brilliant. Now it seems that our hero has an autistic fixation with goblins. Maybe he was farming these low-level monsters in order to get the title of the Goblin Slayer. He wanted the achievement. But since he got it, he just can't stop. He's a one-trick pony. That's what he knows. So he only takes goblin quests. And just like any reasonable person in an MMO, he doesn't take no shit from his support. Like, his support constantly comes up with these nagging solutions and ideas, but he's like shutting them down just like that. Doesn't want to hear nothing of it. Very based. Now we notice that the other heroes in the guild are very uncomfortable around the protagonist. They are ostracizing him. And they're giving this classist reason for it. It's like, oh, you're ranked silver and you're not acting like silver, meh, meh, meh. But I don't think that is the reason why they're uncomfortable. The reason they're uncomfortable is because the Goblin Slayer is a bigot. He goes into this disgruntled hate speech where he says how goblins come out from their underground caves and they go into villages and they kill people and they rape women. And not for a second does he stop to think about the privilege that humans have. Throughout the anime, we notice how the humans live in this very lush lands, you know, very rich and wealthy farms. So the humans are imperialist and they're driving the goblins underground. And instead of the humans checking their privilege and trying to help the goblins out, they attack the goblins whenever they see them. And people like Goblin Slayer, he is the problem. He is the root cause of this. Because not for a second does he stop to ask, are all goblins raping women? Are all goblins responsible? But no, he is stereotyping an entire race of people and is dismissive of their rich and vibrant culture. Which just because it's different doesn't mean that it's not equal to the human culture and worthy of respect. And as we can see, these very hurtful ideas are leaving him to committing genocide. And since he plays such an OP class where apparently he is a one-man artillery, he manages to take down an entire goblin citadel with such effectiveness. Like, his hurtful words add damage to what the arrows do. And as you can see, they even burn stone. Even the stone catches fire because this is what his hatred is capable of. This is why the society needs to learn to fight against this level of hatred. They need to start suppressing the speech from the Goblin Slayer, because otherwise he is going to spread his vile and hateful bigoted ideas towards this innocent little priestess. I mean, just listen to his speech. They behave like they own the country. They murder your people. They use women as playthings and they pillage. Isn't this something horrible? Isn't it like Antifa needs to get their hands on this shit? If only we had a way to teleport out Antifa into this magical fantasy world so that they can teach the Goblin Slayer a lesson, you would actually improve the lifestyle of these people in this fairy tale village. Now, when you thought the Goblin Slayer can't sink more low, he decides to mansplain to this priestess on how to use her spells. And by helping her use a defensive spell offensively, he is not allowing her to grow. He is not allowing her to figure it out for herself and be the hero of her own story. This is horrible. I'm starting to understand. I'm progressive, like, this is fascism. Now, typically the episode ends with other races looking for the Goblin Slayer. And as we can see, I bet this is the token. The green guy is the token so that the Goblin Slayer can say, oh, I don't hate goblins, I have this guy as a friend. No, we will not stand to his hatred. We will not accept this excuse. Overall, this was an amazing episode. I definitely enjoyed it. Looking forward to see how they're building the world further than this, because it's quite interesting. Obviously, it's not going to be a show about just killing goblins, because that would be boring really fast. Now, if you guys like this, if you want me to make more of it, well, share the video. If I actually get views on this, and if people definitely have positive feedback, I will do one of these every week. I don't want to make my channel an anime channel, obviously, because this is not the viewership and the target demographic that I have grown over the years. But I'm not against making at least one episode per week for the people who enjoyed it. So let me know what you think. If you like this, leave a comment. And I'm doing my best to get people who aren't watching the anime also entertained by these videos.